talk, you'll hear chatter online like the new civil war is fought online because having influence and power online is very powerful. So it's like a new civil war. And you always hear, oh, it won't be fought in the streets. The new civil war won't be fought in the streets. If you war criminals, President Trump, Pete Hegseth, Benjamin Netanyahu, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, if all you war criminals think that you are going to have a draft and send our kids off to die for Israel, you might just get what you're looking for. You might get what you're looking for. And Carolyn, she could sit there with a big smile on her face, arrogant piece of shit that she is, because that's what she is. Oh yeah, Trump leaves all options open. If he wants to do a draft, that's what he's going to do. That's what a smart man does. Well, guess what? Make sure you have your little darling children signed up also, Carolyn Levitt. I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Make sure President Trump has Barron Trump and the rest of his kids on the plane ready to go. Make sure Mark Levin's kids are ready to go. Make sure Ben Shapiro's kids are ready to go. Rabbi Shmuley, he's got 7 kids. Make sure they're ready to go. And guess what? Every single Jewish person in America that has dual citizenship better be on that plane before American citizens to go fight the war over there. Every single Jewish person in America that has dual citizenship, again, if you want to have a draft, every single one of those American citizens better be in Israel fighting for their country before American citizens. And if we have boots on the ground over there, if we have American troops on the ground, if we have 50 American troops, first of all, we shouldn't have any. But we better have, for every American soldier over there, I better see and hear an IDF soldiers on the ground also. So sick of the bullshit, man. I'm so sick of it. And listen, the boomers, you can guilt the boomers into, okay, well, I'm going to lay down my life for you because I don't want to be called a racist and an anti-Semite. That's the boomers. That's all you got to do to the boomers. All you got to do is make them feel guilty and they'll just sign their life away to go fight for another country that doesn't give a shit about them. But the younger people, the new generation, it doesn't work. We're not going for it. And Benjamin Netanyahu and the President Trump, they know this. Patrick Bet-David today, he's on his show and he's saying, why are we losing the youth? How come they're not supporting Israel anymore? And 2 seconds later, out of his mouth, you know what he says? He says, Ben Shapiro is a genius. You can't figure out why you're losing the youth. And then 2 minutes later, you say that Ben Shapiro is a genius and you can't figure out why you're losing the youth. Really, Patrick Bet-David? I mean, you think you're the smartest guy on the planet because of your pyramid scheme and all the garbage. Just a year ago, you were pumping out the Andrew Tate coin. All those coins that he does, the Bitcoin scams, and Patrick Bet-David was pushing this on his show not even 9 months ago. And he wants you to think he's like this legit person. And he's trying to play it down the middle because, he even knows like if Rome was destroyed, the PBD podcast can go down the same road also. I mean, Adam Sosnick's doing a great job of destroying the show. And see, and this is what Patrick Bet-David and Sosnick, they hide behind this all the time. They're like, we're in the opinion business. We're in the debate business. They hide behind that. They hide behind all the time. And what Adam Sosnick is doing, that's not an opinion. That's not a debate. What he is doing is he's looking in the camera every single day and he's lying, and he knows he's lying over and over and over again, and he's shilling for Israel, and he's trying to take your eye off the Epstein files, and he's doing everything in his power to look in the camera and lie and grift for Israel and try to make you forget the Epstein files, and that's because his bosses are telling him to do it. And Patrick Bet-David, he'll go down that road, he'll do it subtly. He'll sneak it into his audience so he could go back to the people that he's taking checks from and be like, you see, look what I said. I put it out there too. Look what Adam Dershowitz was on my show. I said it was impossible for Jeffrey Epstein to work for the Israeli government because he told too much. I said the same thing. It's just little, the whole show doesn't have to be, when these people approach them, when Benjamin Netanyahu and these Mossad assets or agents approach these podcasters, even our CIA, it's not like they have to do a 3-hour show of everything that comes out of the podcaster's mouth is what they're telling them to say. It could be like one thing, two things. If you have 3 million listeners on your podcast or viewers, and they come to you and they come to PBD and they're like, hey, all we want you to say today is that look like you're surprised when Alan Dershowitz tells you that it was impossible for Epstein to work for the Israeli government because he talked too much. So act like you're surprised, like, and shake your head, like try to push that narrative. And that's the only thing we're going to ask you to say for today. And Patrick Bet-David, you know exactly what you're doing. And Sosnick, he's the dog that just totally went like off the leash and he's just running wild. And he showed up for work today drunk and hungover. Usually I don't let like video play for too long, but I'm gonna play that podcast for a while because Sosnick's takes were wild today. It was just pure comedy. But hey, that's Sosnick. That's PBD. PBD. He has destroyed his name. He's at the point of no return and he's losing credibility every single day. And a good majority of that is because of Adam Sosnick. Adam, you're another guy that's so pro-war. He's a big Trumper now. He's a warmonger. He's hungry for war, Sosnick. Well, you got dual citizenship, pal. Get on a plane, go to Israel and fight for your country. Everybody that's super pro-war, get on a plane and go fight. Sign up. But if you think you're just going to draft our kids or, a cousin or this one or that one, because the Goyim's life has no value or substance and who cares about them? They had no future anyway. Their dad was a construction worker. Their mom was a beautician or a waitress. So their lives mean nothing. They can die for us. Why our kids go off and be doctors and lawyers and Barron Trump, he's selling crypto. He made like $40 million the other day in crypto. He's a businessman, right? But he's nice and comfy, wearing silk pajamas, eating steak and lobster every day. See, it should be a law. It should be a law that if you're president of the United States or you're the vice president or you're in the Senate and Congress and you vote to go to war and you have children, your children should be the first ones in line to go fight that war. And you know what would happen? We would never have another war on the planet ever again between any country. And we're all onto it. We're all seeing what's going on. We're all onto it. The boomer state, that being a boomer, like these boomers that just support Israel blindly because they've been brainwashed for the last 50 years, like young people are different. They question everything. And Patrick Bet-David's like, we can't figure out why. Why are they questioning it? A young person today will be like, gas is $3.75 a gallon. The average house is $600,000, even like in the worst neighborhood. Everything's super expensive. And they'll be like, well, if everything's so expensive here, why are we giving Israel like billions of dollars a year? It doesn't make sense. They'll say it just like that. Like the Patrick Bet-Davids of the world and all these con men, they think there's like they're blaming Sneeko, they're blaming Nick Fuentes, they're blaming all these people. You should blame yourself. You should blame yourself for being full of shit. Because in today's world, kids have access to the computer, they can read things themselves, they're reading articles, they're paying attention. And kids have a natural instinct to pick on someone that's a bullshit artist. So once they see you're full of shit, they might be your kid. They might not say, oh, my dad's full of shit. But in the back of their mind, they know you're full of shit. And then they start questioning everything. And that's where we are today. And that's why the support is ending. And I'm glad that it's ending. I'm glad the blindless support for Israel is ending. It's time that they fight their own wars. It's time they fight their own wars. You know, that country, Israel, the entire country gets free healthcare. You know how many Americans we have in this country that don't have health? I don't even have healthcare right now. I lost my healthcare. I got a broken finger. I can't, broken tendon in my hand. I can't get surgery on my finger. Right? So we're paying for people in Israel to have healthcare. We're all suffering paying $1 or more for a gallon of gas. The stock market's crash. All the prices are going to go up, but we can suffer. Americans can suffer because we have to keep Israel safe. But I'm doing Bongino. Hey, Dan, what was your greatest accomplishment as FBI director? You know, his whole posture changes and he gets all dramatic like he is. And he's like, keeping Israel safe. Not the American citizen, not the American taxpayer, not bringing prices down. No, his number one concern was keeping Israel safe. Just what a young 19-year-old person that can't afford anything wants to hear. And you want to blame Nick Fuentes and you want to blame Sneeko? Sneeko and Nick Fuentes, they're the American dream. They're the American dream. It doesn't matter if you like them. It doesn't matter if you like what they're saying. Sneeko started a YouTube channel at 10 years old. Was like 10 when he started his channel. He showed last month that he made streaming $120,000 in a month. This month so far, he's made $65,000 streaming in 2 months of work. He made $180,000 in 2 months. That's the American dream. He's an American success story. And guess what? Young people see somebody like Sneeko. You think he's you think Sneeko's like brainwashing people. That, you know, he's hitting them like Patrick Bet-David and Trump and Netanyahu and all the people that attack Sneeko, Laura Loomer, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, all the Zionist, satanic, murdering psychopaths. They all attack Sneeko. And a young person looks at Sneeko, they don't care that they're not as racist as the Zionists. You know what I mean? The Zionists are the real racists. You see how they talk about the goyim all the time, but you're not allowed to ask them about that. You're not allowed to ask them about Jesus burning in shit. Oh, that part doesn't count. That part doesn't count, right? But getting back to Sneeko and Nick Fuentes, these young people look at them like the American dream. That's the and social media is very popular in 2026. Most young people want to be streamers. Most young people want to be YouTubers. So the average young person sees their success and is like, that's why they're listening to them. It's not because they're brainwashing our youth. They're telling them the truth. You don't think that any of our young people, after Sneeko says something or after Nick Fuentes says something, you don't think they go back and research it themselves to see if it's true? And then it resonates with that audience? See, Patrick Bet-David, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, all of these effing clowns, and that's what they are. The Dan Bonginos, they'll register with the boomers because the boomers are brainwashed to hate their own skin. It doesn't register with young people. You're nothing to them. Like, you're not a success story to them. And you know why? Not because you're older, not because you're talking about things that they're not interested in. You're not a success story to them because you're not genuine and they know you're full of shit. It's just like everybody with Andrew Tate now. Like when Andrew Tate first came out, his message, men need to be masculine, they need to work. I was like, yeah, this is a good message. This is a change. This is what young people need to see. And then you do some research on him. You see he's a human trafficker, pimp. He's doing all types of stuff. He threw Sneeko under the bus. He's a crypto scammer. I mean, it's undeniable. So they say all the time, well, sue me. I'll just play back the video of you teaching how to sex traffic underage girls and pimp them and, human and all the other garbage that I'll just play that in court. Sue me, please. Don't care. And why did young people start to turn on the Tates? Not because they're old, not because they don't like the message, or they kind of don't like the message, because they're not honest and they're not genuine. And that turns the young crowd off. And you can say what you want about Sneeko and you can say what you want about Nick Fuentes. I mean, these are like the two biggest streamers, but guess what? When they talk, it's genuine. And when they talk about the policy, you'll see Nick and Sneeko, they'll disagree about little things, more cultural things here or there. But the policy and what's going on in the world, what they're talking about is undeniable. That's why nobody debates them. That's why nobody debates them. I mean, yeah, Nick Fuentes went on Patrick Bet-David's show, but they didn't have a debate. When Dinesh D'Souza tried to debate Nick Fuentes, he got mauled. And you know what happened? Now nobody else wants to debate him because when it comes to the policy, they'll get mauled. Nobody's going to debate Sneeko. Nobody's going to debate Nick Fuentes. Nobody's going to debate Myron on the policy. How come? And this is always the excuse. This is always the excuse from that scumbag Ben Shapiro. And that's exactly what he is. He's just a piece. He's just a total piece of shit, that guy. You'll hear everybody say, well, how come you won't sit down with Nick Fuentes? Be a man, Ben Shapiro. Sit down across from Nick Fuentes and have a debate. Dan Bongino, the big tough guy, sit down across from Nick Fuentes and have a debate. Do that with Sneeko also. The Mark Levins of the world. Mark Levin, nobody under 30 years old even knows who you are. We know who you are because we talk politics all the time. But how come none of you clowns will have Sneeko or Nick Fuentes or Myron on your show and debate the policy? And when you make excuses and you're like, I don't debate trolls, or I don't have time for somebody like that. You know what young people do? You know what all these millions upon millions of young people do? They look at you, and just because you chickened out and you won't even sit down and you're like, I don't want anything to do with that person. You could have showed up, and even if you got destroyed in the debate, you could have earned some points with the younger generation. But you take the coward's way out every time, and that's why Sneeko and Nick Fuentes and that whole group, they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the audience keeps exploding more and more. And you know what? They absolutely deserve to get a bigger audience, and you deserve to be an absolute nobody at this point. Megyn Kelly too. She's trying to jump ship. She's been corporate meat. I'm a Zionist. All my friends are Jewish. She has to preference everything. I'm not an anti-Semite. Anytime she criticizes Israel, she has to start with, I'm not an anti-Semite. It's just like, grow up already. I mean, grow up already. Just grow up. You don't have to preference it with that because you're criticizing the policies with Israel. I mean, just stop. But she's trying to act like she's America first. Now, nobody's buying it, Megyn. We know Doug and you are concerned about the views and, the money. We're not buying it, Megyn Kelly. We're just not buying it. I didn't mean to go off into this. I was going to talk about Nick and Sneeko eventually, but I was trying to do that later after we talked about PBD, after I played the video more. So, let me get off that for now. But when I hear the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros and the Patrick Bet-Davids, and they're trying to blame Sneeko and Nick, like say negative things about them, like they're brainwashing the youth. They're turning them into the Nazi youth. Like, you sound so fucking stupid. You sound so dumb. Young people are gravitating towards them because they're genuine. And you just don't, and you like these boomers, whatever, they just don't. It just doesn't like Patrick Bet-David. You could do the whole I'm a businessman, I'm a numbers guy. You could do the whole mafia type boss. It's like it's, and then on top of it, you're full of shit sometimes. And it's not like there's a difference, right? And I've had this happen to me. I read something and I didn't get the correct information. And I come back a day later and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I messed up. I got it wrong. This is what I read and I apologize. I'm not intentionally looking into a camera trying to mislead somebody and intentionally lying to them. And that's what Patrick Bet-David does. And that's what Adam Sosnick does. And that's what Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, Dan Bongino, President Trump, Pete Hegseth. That's what you all are doing. And that's why all the support for Israel is going in the garbage can. Because not only are you lying, but your lies are it's making everybody's lives more difficult in the United States of America. It's driving the prices of everything through the roof. And then on top of it, you stand in front of a camera, you spit in our face, and we just have no patience or tolerance for it. And then you have an idiot like Caroline Levin today come out with a smirk and a smile on her face talking about President Trump might bring back the draft. You do that, buddy. You do that. You do that. I want you to do that, Trump. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes, tough guy. Because you're not a tough guy, Trump, at all. You're a fraud. You're old. You're corrupt. You're a fraud. You're bought and paid for. Benjamin Netanyahu is your daddy and your boss. You started an illegal war. This war is an illegal war. You're a war criminal. You didn't get permission from Congress. You bypassed everybody. And, you're trying to say, oh, we're crushing Iran. We're crushing Iran. This war is about to stop. No, it's not. You know when the war will stop? When Benjamin Netanyahu tells you that it's okay for it to stop. And here's another thing that I love about Trump. This is what I love about Trump, too. He's like, oh, I want this to go like Venezuela. I want to use the same military tactics with Venezuela. I want to get this over in 24 hours. And I want it to, this idiot, and that's what he is. Trump is an idiot. He's trying to compare the country of Venezuela to the country of Iran. I mean, didn't you learn from Ronald Reagan when he said, I got to get the hell out of here? These people are crazy. You're really trying to compare Venezuela to Iran of all places. I think Iran has what? 300 million people? 90, whatever. 100 million, 300, who cares? They have a much more sophisticated military. They have mountains and terrain to hide their weapon systems. They're doing it for Allah, right? You can go to Venezuela. You can go any of these South American countries and you can bribe anybody there. You can bribe them with anything, cars, money, jewels, and they'll take it. You can't do that with Iran. They're not doing it for luxury items. They're not doing it for material items. They're doing it for Allah, right? So they're going to be a tougher opponent. And this is how much of an idiot that Trump is. He's comparing Venezuela to Iran, and he thinks he can use the same tactics and get it over just as fast. He's just an idiot. He underestimated his opponent with Iran. And then you kill the supreme leader, and then his son takes over. MOJTABA KHAMENEI, the new supreme leader, the son. Sorry if I said the first name wrong. You think you just murdered his father. You think the son's gonna fall into line and just do whatever America says now? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? You just murdered the kid's father in an illegal war, and you think his son is just going to be like, okay, you murdered my dad. Let's move on. Let's talk about oil. Let's talk about sightseeing. Let's talk about making Iran a place where women can walk around naked in bikinis and go to the beach. It's just like, man, you're just an idiot. That's what you are. You really are. You're comparing Venezuela to Iran. Shows you what a moron you actually are. Now they're running all these propaganda videos for Iran. And of course, all the propaganda videos in America are showing, they're already sexualizing Iranian women. They have them like in G-strings and thongs, and they're dancing in the street. And pretty soon they'll be doing OnlyFans. And then, we'll be inviting Iranian boys and girls over. America will be telling them boys can be girls and girls can be boys. And hey, if you want to chop your dick off, go ahead. We'll pay for it, right? Is this how you're liberating the Iranian people, Trump? Is this how you're liberating them, Pete Hegseth? Mark Levin? It's all bullshit. They're not liberating anybody. They're doing this. Trump is doing this. The United States military is doing this because this is what Benjamin Netanyahu wants. Excuse me. It's all about expanding Israel's borders. That's all it is. They'll hide behind we're liberating people. So now America, of all places, is the morality police. Trump and his buddies, they were having sex with 10-year-olds. They were eating them. They were putting them in acid. They were murdering. They were doing everything you could think of. And President Trump, the United States military, I shouldn't say the military, the government wants to go around and tell the rest of the world how to live. I mean, you had that Iranian official on TV the other day say we're fighting the Epstein class, mocking Trump. The United States of America is in no position to go to any country in the world and tell them how to treat their people or how to live. We are the laughing stock of the universe. We are in World War III right now because Trump is trying to cover up a pedophile ring ran by Jeffrey Epstein, who worked for the Israeli government. And then on top of it, he's trying to fulfill a Bible prophecy for Benjamin Netanyahu, an atheist. They're trying to fulfill a Bible prophecy. This is how insane these people are. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. This is why they tell you don't mix religion and state. For this, I'll say religion and country. Keep your personal beliefs, who you worship, out of it. Follow the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, follow the laws of our country, and keep all the other garbage out of it. And listen to the forefathers. Stay out of foreign affairs. Don't mix religion and state. So just think about it like that. If these idiots, if these warmongers, if these war criminals were listening to the forefathers and doing what they were told to do, what is written, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. Stay out of foreign affairs and keep religion and state separate. But no, we're doing the total opposite. We're trying to fulfill a Bible prophecy. Mike Huckabee gets on TV and says, when Tucker asked him, I don't care if Israel takes all the land. They could just take all the land. Oh, so they could just murder and pillage and kill whoever they want based on what the Bible says. And Trump's such a fucking idiot. He hasn't figured it out yet. He's the monkey in the middle. Trump's the monkey in the middle. You want to know why? Because the Bible prophecy, in order to get, to summon or make this happen, there has to be an antichrist. And who do you think Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government is looking at as the antichrist? Oh, that's right, President Trump. But he's too stupid to figure this out, that he's the monkey in the middle. Book of Revelation talks about the supreme leader that tries to bring all the governments under one. And that's how the Antichrist comes and makes an appearance. That's what they want Trump's legacy to be. But he's such an idiot, he can't figure it out. Whether he's the one to make it happen, to summon it, or he's the actual Antichrist himself, he's too dumb to figure it out. And okay, let's say hypothetically the Bible revelation was all true. Let's say it was true. Why would you try to do things on purpose to make the end of the world happen? Isn't it your job to protect all of us as the president of the United States? Wouldn't you be doing the exact opposite so the end of the world doesn't come? Wouldn't that make more sense if you really cared about Americans? No, I'm going to do the opposite so the end of the world doesn't happen. But hey, I mean, when you're mentioned in the Epstein files 2,054 times, and you don't want your name to get dragged through the mud, and you want everybody to shift their focus off the Epstein files, let me go bomb the shit out of Iran, a country that was never going to bomb America, doesn't even have the capability of bombing us, to take everybody's eyes off the ball. Nope, it's me. I got problems today. It's really me. So 2 men in New York City, they were charged with terrorism. They were having a protest. This Jewish guy who became a Christian because he was locked up from January 6th. They were doing a protest in Manhattan, and you had 2 Muslims that drove from Pennsylvania, and they threw these bombs into the crowd. I don't know if they went off. I don't think they went off. And what is ZIHARAN MAMDANI, the piece of shit? He's just a scuzz bucket. I can't describe him any other way. What does this piece of garbage do, ZIHARAN MAMDANI? He blames white supremacy. He blames white supremacy. So 2 Muslims drove from Pennsylvania to commit a terrorist act. And ZIHARAN MAMDANI, when he gives a speech, he blames white supremacy. He blames white people for this. Sound familiar? I mean, at this point, is there anything that white people don't get blamed for? You had 2 Muslims that drove from Pennsylvania, threw a bomb into a crowd. And ZIHARAN, he blames white supremacy. The Ilans, the Zorans, This is exactly why if you're born on foreign soil, President Trump needs to make a law. If you're born on foreign soil, you can't hold any office in America. And that just shows you why. And to all the white people that voted for this slime ball, that hate your own skin, you are just absolutely pathetic. And you deserve everything you're going to get what New York's about to become. You deserve all of it. This man absolutely hates you. He despises you. He wants to tax you more. He's came out. ZIHARAN MAMDANI has come out and said, I want to tax white people more. White people. He specifically said, I want to tax white people more. Then he brought up that he wants to remove dogs from everybody's home. ZIHARAN, the invitation still stands. Seriously, ZIHARAN, I would love for you to show up to my house and tell me, we're going to get rid of your dog. Nothing would make me happier. Okay, tough guy, nothing would make me happier. And just because I've been coming out and I'm saying that Iranians are not the problem, that Israel is the problem and America is the problem, they're the ones that are causing the havoc with these Muslims, these Arab in the Arab world, doesn't mean I'm supporting Islam at all, because I'm sick of both sides. I'm sick of the Zionists. I'm sick of the Muslims. And the more power that each of these groups get in America, the worse our country becomes. And I don't care how you feel about what I just said. It's absolutely true. These people have been fighting for thousands and thousands of years. They're never going to stop, ever. They just can't be normal. It's just not who they are. And if it was up to me, we wouldn't have one American soldier over in the Middle East. I'd bring them all home. And I would be like, anybody that wants to be a part of what's going on over there, you're free to go. I'll build you a cage. You can have a Royal Rumble. Do whatever you want to each other. We're not involved. See you later. I'm sick of the entire Middle East. You know how many American soldiers have lost their lives? Not even American soldiers, other Americans, because of terrorist acts, whether they were on vacation in Europe and a terrorist blew something up. We have lost thousands upon thousands of Americans who didn't have anything to do with any of this bullshit. You know, we have 6 service members that died already. 1 is too many. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the entire Middle East. I don't want to hear about Arabs and Jews. I don't need a lecture. I don't need the history. I just don't give a shit. Life is short. Learn to live normal. If you don't want to live normal, stay in the Middle East. Do whatever you want to each other and leave the rest of the world out of it. And you know what's funny? The more that the rest of the world gets involved, the worse their countries become. Whether it's refugees or one group is mad at another group, and then because they say, oh, the English, they helped Israel, so now Muslim extremists go over there and they blow something up or blow some people up. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of the entire Middle East. I don't need a history lesson. I'm not kissing the wall. I don't give a shit. I'm tired of both groups. Go do what you want to each other and leave the rest of us out of it. Had it with both of yous. Let me pull this up. Let me pull up Carolyn. She just makes me sick. I can't stand this lady. I really can't. Let me pull her up. Yeah, Candace is saying the same thing. And I tell everybody this: do not join the military. If you can get out of the military, get out of the military. Get out. Don't re-enlist. If find a legal way to get out. Do not die for Israel. Do not do it to don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to your family.
President Trump wisely
I really can't. After seeing this today, I hate her guts.
does not remove options off of the table. Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now. It has been, and it will continue to be. And President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. I know a lot of politicians like to do that quickly.
You see the smile on her face? You see the smirk on her face? Make sure you send your piece of garbage kids first, you piece of shit. Make sure you sign your kids up for the military to go fight for Israel. See that big smile on her face? 6 Americans just lost their lives for this bag of crap right here and President Trump. And she's on here arrogant with a big smile on her face. She can care less about the mothers around the world worried about their kids that they might get drafted in the military. And this is her expression. That's her expression.
But the president, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the table. But as commander-in-chief, there's no greater priority or responsibility to this president than, of course, protecting the American people and protecting our troops. President Trump.
Yeah, make sure, you know what? Fuck you, fuck Trump, and make sure Barron Trump is signed up too. Fuck both of you. That's all I got to say. Don't care about the curse words today. These people, they make me sick. They really do. It's sickening. Really? Trump's got a lot of kids. Make sure they sign up. Make sure every one of Trump's kids is signed up for the military to go fight for Israel and die then. Make sure your kids are on there too, Caroline. Make sure Mark Levin's kids are on there too. Make sure every American citizen in America that has dual citizenship with Israel, make sure they're over there too. Make sure the Hasidics go with you. You know, they can't make that's against our religion. No, you know what? They love Israel so much, put them on the front lines also. Every one of them should go before an American citizen. And she'll sit there with that smirk on her face and that smile. I hope I will never vote Republican ever again in my life. Done. Completely done. I used to say this before. I didn't regret for voting for President Trump because I felt with Kamala, there'd be another 20 million illegals in the country, and we'd be going down this road with her too. I regret voting for Trump. I will never vote for a Republican ever again in my life. I'm not saying I'm voting for Democrat, but they'll never get my vote again, both sides. This attitude and Trump's attitude, like, oh, no big deal. No big deal. No, that's not going to deter me. You know, we lost 6 people. That just comes with the territory. Fuck you, Trump. Fuck you. Make sure you sign Barron up. Yeah, we're nobodies, right, Trump? Fuck you. Piece of shit.
Meet EM-Sense, a breakthrough in foot therapy that wraps around your foot and ankle like a therapeutic boot and attacks the root cause of your pain in 4 clinically.
What's going on here?
Did you ever think you were made it?
All right.
I think it's Wu-Tang. He's already hurt. He's already hurt.
All right. Okay. So,
Pat, what do you think?
All right. Why is this so small? Hold on. Let me try to bring it up again.
I think this was the guy to get the job because Khomeini, believe it or not, Khomeini's grandson, who was one of the candidates, they put him in that school.
Because he has the super chats up here. I'm going to let this play for a little while. You know, Sosnick, he shows up for drunk and he shows up drunk and hungover. He took a break from the Miami clubs over the weekend trying to pick up 16-year-old girls. He smashed that work today.
School that they, you know, whatever the main school is that you go to, where they develop you, the indoctrination school. I had the Prince of Islam that came on board when we were talking to him. He went to school with Khomeini's grandson, and they actually didn't give him anything. They kind of set him aside on the sideline and didn't do anything with him. So I don't think Khomeini's son was going to get the job. If they kill him, he may get the job. But let me tell you what just happened, Rob. Go back to one of the clips that you had. The grandson, the son of, this is Ayatollah Khomeini's grandson. This is what he said. The grandson said this 4 weeks ago, folks. Go ahead.
الإسرائيليون يعرفون بدقة ويعرفون أن الشعب الإسلامي
Israel's know full well that if a day comes when any Islamic nation is capable of firing missiles at Israel
قادر على قصف إسرائيل وعلى ضربة على
and striking Israel, and if they are capable of erasing Israel,
إذا كانوا قادرين على إزالة إسرائيل سيفعل.
Okay, Patrick Bet David. And if he's saying that, guess what? Israel needs to be big boys and handle their own business and not use the American military to do it. But when President Trump is bought and paid for by Miriam Adelson, you know, we're pimping out our military and our troops are dying while IDF soldiers are at home nice and comfy watching movies and eating popcorn.
They will do to Israel what Hamas did to it.
كل الشعوب الإسلامية. كل الشعوب.
All the Islamic nations, all of them.
إذا نرى أن
Today
بعض
we see
الدول
that
المنطقة
some countries in the region
لا يعملون بواجبهم
are not fulfilling their duty,
لعلهم يقولون وحتما
saying they are
يقولون
incapable of doing
لسنا
so.
بقادرين على ذلك. وإسرائيل يعلم.
Israel knows, America knows,
والقادة
and the leaders of the superpowers know.
يعلمون أن الدول
And
الإسلامية.
if a day comes when the Islamic countries are capable of bombing Israel, you can pause it right there.
Okay.
Repeat.
Wow.
This is the son of the guy that just became the supreme leader, by the way.
Was this guy one of the ones that was...
That's the son of the supreme leader that was just killed. And they said the supreme leader was radical. He seems to be 1,000 more times radical than the father. And now he's going to have a chip on his shoulder because you just murdered his dad and you don't think he's going to be a problem. Trump is just a fucking idiot. And Trump is trying to compare Iran to Venezuela still because he's a moron.
Was killed in the bombing.
No, I don't think so.
That's a good question. I don't think it's this one that was killed. You know, the one thing about Muslims, they have a lot of kids, but...
It says at least one son reported killed.
Okay, Rob, can you check to see if that was the son that was killed?
Yes.
I don't think it was him, though.
Okay, so Pat, if it wasn't him, guess what, Adam? That's the guy that's about that life. Yeah. This guy's about that life. I haven't seen one video of the son of Khomeini talk reckless like that. That guy's living the lavish life. I haven't heard one speech saying if we had nukes or we had bombs, whatever, let's erase Israel.
Can I ask you a question?
Guy's, yes.
So Vinny, Adam, what do you think? Look at the westernization and the attraction. When I say westernization on the business front, Western hotels, Western businesses that they're trying to attract. It's called Television City, I believe, is in Dubai.
Okay.
It's a little area where it's basically media companies. Tucker Carlson buying a place in Qatar, and we'll leave out everything else about Tucker. But the point is there's a lot of people and a lot of things happening over there.
What are you going to say about Tucker, that he's telling the truth and he's not bought and paid for by Fox News that was ran by Zionists before? I mean, what is Tucker saying that's not true? How come none of you debate Tucker? None of you. Because you would get destroyed. That's why.
Do you think those people are all waiting to get nuclear weapons to erase Israel while they're basically doing deals with the West and expanding, and the PIF is investing in companies in the West and all that? They find it kind of hard to believe that everyone is sitting there below the surface, that they all secretly wish they could nuke Israel.
I agree in the fact that not Dubai and stuff like Dubai is like Vegas now. They're trying to expand and they're trying to be, westernized. But I do believe that there's certain ones, Tom. There's certain ones, absolutely, that would. Tom, anybody that has the attitude of death to us, I have a huge problem with that. And
Vinny, get over it already. They've been saying it for 30 and 40 years. And why do they say death to America? I mean, get over it. Like, grow the fuck up. Why are they saying that? If we didn't back everything that Israel does, they wouldn't care about us. They wouldn't be saying it. So if Israel didn't drag us into it, they wouldn't be saying it. That's why, Vinny. I mean, just stop already.
And this notion of just leave them alone. Like, we don't need to be involved with anybody, but you do not
Well, Vinny, it's too late, because maybe if we didn't bomb their homelands for the last 30 or 40 years, maybe if we told Israel, hey, you handle that. We have nothing to do with that. Maybe they wouldn't have this sentiment towards us.
Tom, and I'm asking you genuinely, you're an educated man. You're very educated. If I was threatening to kill you constantly and I'm killing people in my family, I'm building something at some point, would you ignore me forever? Would you ignore me and let me get to the point where I can do it?
Vin, you're forgetting one major part to this whole story. You're like, oh, they chant death to America and they're building bombs to blow us all up. Why are they so angry in the first place, Vinny? Why don't you want to say it? The reason why they hate us so much is because for the last 50 to 60 years, we back every single thing that Israel does. And maybe if we acted like adults a long time ago through all these wars and we told Israel, hey, you're on your own with that. Whatever you want to do, that's on you. Maybe they wouldn't hate us so much, Vin.
What do you think? I'm talking reckless, or you think?
I mean, you're Mr. I tell it like it is, Mr. I'm a tough. I tell it like it is. This and that. Emotions on my sleeve. Then why aren't you telling the truth? Then
I actually mean what I'm saying?
I would assume that you meant it, right?
Yeah. So would you do something to stop me, or would you just say, no, guys,
By the
we
way,
don't get involved, let them go?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Rob ran a poll, 5,000 votes. How long will Khamenei remain as supreme leader of Iran? Days, weeks, months, years? Look what the poll came back as. 53% think it's days.
Bingo.
So you got 81% say he's got weeks to live, days to weeks to live. So we'll see. We'll see what happened with the announcement here. Now, at the same time, Trump demands unconditional surrender to end war in Iran. Will he get that? Here's what he had to say. President Trump wrote in a Friday morning Truth Social post that the U.S. will make no deal with Iran besides an unconditional surrender of the country's leadership. After that section of a great and acceptable leader, we and many of our wonderful and very brave allies and partners.
If I'm Iran, you know what I tell Trump, especially if I know that Benjamin Netanyahu is controlling our government. You know what I tell Trump? F you. Let's do it, man. You're not taking over my country. You're not killing you're not going to tell me how to live. Especially you. Look at your name. Look at the scandal you're involved in right now. Like, get out of my face. Not in a million years would I concede to this if I'm Iran.
Will work tirelessly to bring Iran back from the brink of destruction, making it economically bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Iran will have a great future. Make Iran.
It's so funny. Trump is concerned about Iran's economy. He's concerned about making Iran great again. We elected him to make America great again. And he just took a shit in all of our faces. And now it's America last as usual. And this clown show is worried about making Iran's economy good. As the talking point of the day is this. Short-term pain for long-term gain. You know, oh, Americans, you're going to have to suffer, you know, a couple more years, couple more months, you know, you're basically your whole life. Who gives a shit about you? You know, we got to help everybody else. Fucking clown.
Great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Rob. You have a clip as well on that.
I do.
Here's the
every person in politics, Republicans, Democrats, I hate all of you. I just do. I hate every single one of you equally. Both parties. You know what Israel does? They hedge their bets. People will be like, why does the Israeli government give Alexandria Cortez money and Hakeem Jeffries, and then they give it to Trump, and then they give it to Ted Cruz? They hedge their bets. They give it to both sides, and they win no matter what. It's called hedging your bet. That's what the Zionists do. That's what the Israeli lobby does. And that's why AIPAC needs to be expelled from America. AIPAC needs to be expelled from America. Like, first day. We need to get rid of this in our government immediately. The other day, Adam Sosnick got mad when Vinny said, America needs to get rid of AIPAC. And, you know, Adam Sosnick, he really, really can't stand when Vinny talks. He can't stand when any goyim talk against, you know, the Israeli talking points. You could see the contempt in his voice, in his face. He's like, yeah, good luck with that, pal. Yeah, you're so tough. You're so tough doing your false flag attacks, you little weasel coward. Don't worry. It's coming. AIPAC's going to be banned from America soon. Hopefully in 2028. Hopefully if I ever gain power, dual citizenship is over immediately. And so is AIPAC. You're getting registered as a foreign lobby. You don't like it. F you.
President, go for it, Rob.
Cesar Millan, how to add years to your dog's life. Sardines.
9.
Bone broth.
10. It's €9.
I'm worried about setting my people free.
What?
I'm not worried about your fragile feelings. You think you're going to guilt me and call me names when I end dual citizenship? When I get rid of AIPAC? You think you're going to you're going to make me hate myself? Not in a million years.
Conditional surrender looks like to you? I mean, what do you want from Iran? I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they cry uncle, or when they can't fight any longer, there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too, because, you know, we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender, or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
There you go. Tom, thoughts?
Well, I think when you hear that, do you think he's going to get that? Do you think, I don't know. in my wildest dreams, I don't see an unconditional surrender. Unconditional surrender says, okay, we're going to come in, no conditions. So we're going to come in and we're going to destroy any bomb making, any military industrial complex that you may have. We'll do that after this is over. Sign here. We'll be in a minute. We'll send some guys over. We're going to take care of all that. That's an unconditional surrender. I don't think Iran's going to give them an unconditional surrender. I think this is Trump putting the line out there that's saying, hey, hell's fury doesn't stop until we get this. And you see who is standing behind.
Another scam, Minect. Yeah, I'm going to pay Tom Ellsworth $5,000 a minute to talk to him for expert advice. PBD charges like $10,000 a minute to talk to him. Here, let me tell everybody something. When you really care about people and you've made it like this, you just tell them stuff for free. The only way to be successful is to put the work in daily. And when you put that work in daily, you're going to learn things as you go. And nobody else could give you like good insight because they're not you and they don't see what you're going through. You just got to put the work in and you're going to learn things as you go. That's the best advice somebody could give you. But hey, when you're a pyramid scammer, you know, you'll charge $10,000 a minute. Fucking clown.
Behind him on that aircraft?
Woodcough.
Not, yes.
Steve
Woodcough and Hexet.
Hexet was looking over his shoulder, but it was Witkoff who's standing in the background. And I don't think they're going to get an unconditional surrender. I think they're drawing the line way out. And I think that's the message.
Vinny.
I don't see the Iranian IRGC just going, yeah, you know what? We're done. We're going to give up. And now that's my one issue with this whole thing, Pat, is was this to... Because what I initially thought was it's for the people in the street.
Vince, stop trying to be a pimp and charging people to talk to you, okay? I mean, you come on, you don't got to go down the PBD road.
We're dying. Were we going in to help them? And then once it all started, and I think the president said it was to take out their launching missile capabilities. So I want to know what's the status of all the people that were fighting in the streets. Like, what are they doing? Are they just now standing by and waiting for everything to get bombed out? Because I don't feel like there is a plan for leadership. They're going to keep taking out cousins, brothers, everybody's going to keep getting killed, and the next man up is going to come up, and they're going to have days or weeks time.
But that's not on the president, prime minister side. That's on the supreme leader. It's like their pope.
Yeah, no. I'm saying the objective of this mission, the American-Israel war in Iran.
I'm just trying to get it to Adam so he could do a couple takes because he was drunk and hungover today. So I'm sorry I'm letting it play like this. I should have chopped it up. It's just that I'm live, so I should have did this differently. But just bear with me.
Was for what? I thought it was because there was 40,000 people, if the number's correct or not, dying and fighting in the streets. And then once it started, I heard different. I heard it was for...
I'll tell you one thing that I do like about Iran. They call their leader the supreme leader. It's like Cobra Commander. You know, it's so much cooler than being called the president of the United States. I'm the supreme leader of the United States of America. Cobra Commander.
Getting rid of their missiles and stuff like that, which it seems like they're kicking butt in that sense of it. But if you take a step back and look, it's not Reza Pahlavi. He's self-proclaiming, Pat. He's self-proclaiming that he's going to be the leader of the... You know, not the revolution or whatever. He's promoting himself as the guy. But I'm just saying, once this smoke and all the soot, oil smoke bombing,
transitional leader.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that there's something, because if you kill everybody, then what? Who's going to take charge? Who's going to be in charge of the country? That's my only thing.
Adam.
So hold on, I got to cut Adam off for a minute. Vinny, that's a stupid question. Benjamin Netanyahu wants to own all the land. What are you talking about? Israel take over the land like they're trying to do. What do you make no Vin? Come on, Vin. Sometimes you seem like you're onto Adam, you're onto Benjamin Netanyahu, and you kind of know what's going on. And then there's some things you say like you act like you have no clue what's really going on. We're expanding Israel's borders. They don't care if every Iranian on the planet is dead. They don't care if it's women, children, men, kids. They don't care who it is. They want the land, Vin. Like, come on already.
So this is civilization versus barbarism. I'll say it again.
I gotta let it play, but again, he came to work drunk today and hungover. No doubt in my mind. And he's trying to call them barbarians and like trying to make it sound like his people and Israel is all about civilization and the Muslims are barbarians. You just committed a genocide. You killed 1 million Palestinians, women, children. You killed children that were reaching for boxes of cereal and oranges because they haven't eaten in 2 weeks, and you shot them in the back of the head. Who are you to preach to anybody?
Civilization versus barbarism. And I think that the Trump administration has learned from all our past mistakes in Iraq and Afghanistan, in Libya, in other countries around the world.
Could you imagine you paid Adam Sosnick to talk to him? You got to be a complete idiot.
Like Syria, that we've been in a debacle. I'll say this also. The Iranian people are Persians.
He's sweating vodka right now. The vodka's coming out of his pores.
They're not Arabs. It's a totally different ideology. It's a different history. The mistakes that we've made all over the past, that I will admit that George Bush and
what was that right there? No. Well, I just got some cocaine out of the back of my throat, and the vodka's coming. The vodka's coming through my pores. Like he's like, what the hell was that? What was that? This is the whole point of me showing you this video today. That Adam showed up for work hungover and drunk. Oh, we got to watch that again.
I don't think they're going to get an unconditional surrender. I think they're drawing,
getting rid of their missiles and stuff like that, which it seems like they're kicking butt in that sense of it. But if you take a step back and look, it's not Reza Pahlavi. He's self-proclaiming, Pat. He's self-proclaiming that he's going to be the leader of the, you know, not the revolution or whatever. He's promoting himself as the guy. But I'm just saying, once this smoke and all the soot, oil smoke bombing
transitional leader.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that there's something, because if you kill everybody, then what? Who's going to take charge? Who's going to be in charge of the country? That's my only thing.
Lose 45 pounds and become unrecognizable by spring. On Monday, March 9th, we're starting the...
Adam.
So this is civilization versus...
Wait, he just shook again. Hold on. That was one.
This is barbarism. I'll say it again. This is civilization versus barbarism. And I think that the Trump administration...
Hold on. It's coming.
Administration has learned from all our past mistakes in Iraq and Afghanistan, in Libya, in other countries around the world like Syria, that we've been in a debacle. I'll say this also. The Iranian people are Persians. They're not Arabs. It's a totally different ideology. It's a different history. The mistakes that we've made all over the past, that I will...
What the hell was that? What the... Like, what the hell is that? Patrick Bet-David, you must really be... There's only one reason why Sosnick has a job, and that's because Patrick Bet-David is bought and paid for. That's why Adam is bringing PBD checks from the Israeli government, Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm telling you.
We'll admit that George Bush and the Dick Cheney wing of the Republican Party have completely ruined the reputation of the Republican Party when it comes to war. But Trump ain't those dudes. Trump gets in, gets out. He's precise. You know, the whole debate in Congress these days is, it's a war. Well, it's not a war. Have they declared war? Is this a conflict? Is it a battle? Is it an incursion? Is this a military offensive? Everyone wants to basically have these war of words over whether this is a war or not. But you did a great video, PBD. I encourage everybody to watch it, about, is this a regime change or regime collapse? I don't know what this is going to be yet, but I know this. The world is so much of a better place without the Ayatollah Khomeini in power and the IRGC in power. And whatever.
Really, Adam? I mean, his son just took over, his grandson. I mean, they seem more radical than him. But hey, you know, this is the talking point that he has to push. He's a big Trumper now, Adam, right? I wonder why, Adam. He loves Trump now. All the Zionists that hated, you can go back 2 years. Mark Levin hated Trump, Ben Shapiro hated Trump, Adam Sosnick hated Trump. And you know why? Because when Trump first appeared, he said he wasn't going to attack Iran. And that's why Charlie Kirk's not alive anymore. Charlie Kirk isn't alive anymore because Charlie Kirk was against the war in Iran, and Benjamin Netanyahu could not have that. And that was the final nails in Charlie Kirk's coffin, when he was against the war with Iran.
What happens next remains to be seen, but you control the controllable, and you take those people out when you can, and you deal with the consequences after that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of 8 things.
If you watch us on TV, like on the big screen, you're going to see how hammered Adam Sosnick was today at work. He's just probably, what it probably was, he was probably drinking the night before, doing whatever in Miami nightclubs, taking a break from trying to pick up 16-year-old girls, and came to work, and this is what you got today. I'm going to let it play for a couple more minutes. I'm not going to play all of his takes, but if you watch this entire show today with PBD, Adam's take one after the other is just like downright ridiculous.
Going to happen, and people have to pick and choose which one that is. One is the Samson option. You know what the Samson option is. You've seen Samson when he's in the temple, and they all come in, and they're like, oh, okay, you're going to take all of us out? Everyone's going down, including me, and then boom, everything collapses. So if they push Iran too much to that level, will Iran decide to do something dumb like that and take everything out?
You know what's crazy? PBD's talking about Iran's Samson option. Meanwhile, Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel have already said if they feel the world is getting too anti-Semitic, not if the world attacks them, if they feel there's too much anti-Semitism, the thanks that America and our taxpayers are going to get is the Samson option, which shoots nuclear weapons into America. So that's the thanks we get after being their greatest ally. We get to be nuked if they feel that there's too much anti-Semitism in the world. Not even if other countries are attacking them, if they don't like your viewpoints. Oh, right. But who are the fanatics again? The Iranians are the fanatics. Tucker Carlson's the fanatic. Candace Owens is the fanatic. No, Benjamin Netanyahu in the country of Israel is fanatics and lunatics, and they just killed 1 million people with those Palestinians. They killed 1 million of them for the land.
I don't know. That's not good. But by the way, when you say G, they don't have anything to come out, but they may do stuff internally with their, like what happened with the two boys in New York, that with the, what do you call it, the bombs that they threw. We'll talk about that here in a minute as well. That's one. Number two is, an even more extreme leader takes over and makes it even worse if they're able to survive it. Number three is Syrification, which is kind of like it just kind of keeps fractured, keeps going. It's always problems, always issues. Then a stalemate, nothing happens, stays the same. Fifth one is a military guy.
I'm going to just play for another 3 minutes. Adam's going to do another take in a minute, and it's just like laughable.
Over, which is even worse. That happened to Brazil, that happened to Argentina, that happened to a lot of different countries. And then you have the Persian Spring. Then you have the Marshall Plan, which everybody around the world is going to want to come and fix it. You know how much it costs to fix Europe? Marshall Plan, you know how much the world put? It would be around 130 to 150 billion dollars of today's money, which, by the way, Vinny, is not a lot of money. You know how many Marshall Plans the world has tried to fix Africa?
I can't believe the sleep apnea pillow exists. So I almost made the dumbest mistake of my life. I
saw what you said.
Can you pull up? If you start,
I haven't seen.
Can you pull up how many Marshall Plans and how much dollars the world has spent to try to fix Africa? Okay, before you pull it up, can you guess how many Marshall Plans we've tried on Africa? How many Marshall Plans have we tried on Africa?
100?
50-ish. How much money do you think has been spent? Since 60 till today, Tom saw it, so pull it up. Since 1960 till today, look at the number.
Jeez.
Look at the number. From 1960 till 2000s, $500 billion to $1 trillion.
Okay, PBD, why are you talking about Africa, that all these countries give this type of money to Africa and you're complaining about it? We give more money to Israel than this, and they still can't handle their own problems or defend themselves. We give twice the amount of money than this to Israel. Are you complaining about that?
Has been used, which is the equivalent of $4 to $8 trillion we've spent to try to fix
in today's money.
In today's money, wow. And we failed. How is it right now? Has it been fixed?
No,
not. So and then last but not least, it's what? The beautiful haven. It's incredible. It's a we go there. It's great. Cabaret Tehran. Everything's back up. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's going to be this. I don't think it's going to be this. I think it's going to be a little bit of a on this side if they succeed. And by the way, anybody and everybody. Recently, there was a guy that went on the Hill, went on the Sagar and Crystal show and did an interview. This Asian guy, I've never seen him before. Humberto's been watching him for a while, where he said 3 predictions he made. He said Trump's going to win the election. We reacted to it last week. Trump's going to win the election. Number 2, they're going to attack Iran. And number 3, Iran's going to lose, right? We messaged him to invite him, and we, messaged Sagar, and then when they did the podcast, he came out And Rob, did we invite him on the podcast when did we invite him? A week ago?
Yeah,
a day after the interview. Do you know what he said on the podcast yesterday about being on the podcast?
What he said?
He says, we were trying to do a setup to him. He said he was worried because there was so many things going on. And now some of the claims that he made, he says Jared Kushner's the next Epstein. He said they won't use nuclear. There's a bunch of different things. I thought it would have been a great conversation because of the angles that he has.
And he said the third one was that Iran was going to
win the war.
They're going to win the war.
And his argument, which by the way, it's actually an interesting argument he makes. He says they're going to have to allow them to win for it to be like it's not our business anymore. They have to handle it over there, and we're going to come over here. Now, he makes these arguments. A lot of people push back. What we know at this point is this. You know who knows what's going to happen next?
Nobody.
Anybody? You know who knows what's going to happen next? Nobody. You know who that includes? Who do you think that includes?
Trump.
Yep.
Nobody has a clue what's going to happen next. Every one of us are speculating. Our leaders are speculating. You don't know what the other guy.
Really, Patrick Bet-David? Trump's going to do exactly what Netanyahu tells him to do. Win, lose, or draw, he doesn't care because he doesn't have to carry the attack out. But hey, let's leave that part out, right, PBD? Let's leave the most important part out. And you know why I think PBD is doing all this? Because he's building these studios for acting and making movies. And they probably told him, as long as you go along and you play ball, we'll get your movies made. It's got to be about business and it has to be about money.
Guy's going to react to. You fight, you hope you're prepared, but you don't go. You remember when Ryan Garcia was fighting Tank? Not Haney, Tank. It's like, oh man, he's going to hit him with the left. Tank's going to get the left. Tank's going to get the left. And then all of a sudden, how did Tank beat him? With the same punch that typically Ryan wins, he won with the left. You never know what's going to happen in these fights. It's all unpredictable. It's all nasty. And every one of us has opinions on what we think is going to happen. We're all speculating. We're all saying, what about this and what about that and what about this? But one thing we do know, let's state the facts. The IRGC hates America. They hate the way we live. That we know for a fact. We know for a fact that they killed their own people. That we know for a fact. There was an interview done with BBC reporter.
Well, if they kill their own people, you have a chance to join the military and go fight. You can sign your sons up. You're from that country, PBD. If you're so pro-war, sign your kids up. You get over there too. Bring Vinny if you're pro-war.
A message to tell a great job on the interview. There was a BBC reporter that's sitting down with, I believe he's the ambassador, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Iran's ambassador to UK, Saeed Ali Mousavi, about protesters being killed by the Iranian government. Look at the way he answers. This we know, that Iran, unlike any other country, is willing to kill their own people. And not by 1 or 2 or 3, by the thousands. Now, whether the number is 5,000 or 100,000, they're doing that to themselves. Watch this interview with BBC, Rob. Go ahead and play this clip. Go for it.
Your country is under attack, but your people have also been under attack. Since we last spoke.
They don't want you to know.
Oh, come on with these commercials.
If you're buying produce from the grocery store, you need to see this.
Your government has killed thousands of its own people in the streets who had the courage to stand up to protest against the suffering that they have been experiencing at the hands of the regime. Thousands of people were killed. How on earth do you justify that, Ambassador?
The Iranian side has their own problems due to the economic sanctions against us. And the Iranian people, unfortunately, has their own problems, in this matter. But I do believe, yes, now our people are in a very painful and sensitive period of time, but they are supporting the government against the foreign invader, foreign aggressors.
To say,
you see, if you go to the inside of Iran, you can see one solidarity, one unity among the people.
Ambassador, we would love to be able to report independently from inside Iran.
Guess what? Here's my problem with what she's saying. That's their country. They can run it how they want to run it. Why do these liberals, why do Americans, why do we insist on going around to the rest of the world and telling other groups how to live? If they want to live like that, that's their business. If their people want freedom, how was America started? How was America started? So if you don't want to be oppressed, then it's your job to stand up for yourself. That's how America was started. We're being oppressed by the British. We had enough taxation without representation. We all know the story from there. So why don't we leave that up to the Iranian people to fight for their freedom? Why does America and European countries insist on going around? Meanwhile, we have one of the most vile, disgusting countries on the entire planet with the Epstein files. Who the hell are we to tell Iranians how to live? We got 582,000 missing children a year. Joe Biden was letting them being abducted from the border, ending up in sex traffickers' hands. Who the F is America to preach to other countries how to live? Let the Iranian people there figure out their civil war. Let them fight for their freedom, just like Americans had to do at one time.
And to see what is really going on.
Why not?
But we have seen much of what has gone on. Just this morning, I looked at many of the images and watched some of the videos from what happened to protesters in your country in January. I looked at images and videos verified independently by our colleagues at BBC Verify that showed body bags littered over the courtyard of a mortuary, the Karizak Forensic Medical Center.
This
in
we
Iran.
know about Iran. They killed their own people.
Images.
Yeah, and we kill our own people. You know how we kill our own people? We refuse to secure our border, and fentanyl comes across the border, and 200 to 300,000 Americans die every year for the last 20 years. We kill our own people because we don't want to secure a border. We're no different than Iranians in Iran. What are you talking about? Why are we preaching from some moral compass? It's ridiculous.
Of young, old, teenagers, people killed by your government, beaten faces, bloodied bodies, gunshot wounds. How on earth do you justify that and sit there today saying, our people have some complaints? Your government killed thousands of their own people and the world saw that.
Listen to his answer.
Again, I recommend you to be very vigilant and delicate.
And our colleagues have verified those images independently.
Yeah, and the country she comes from, they have Pakistani sexual assault gangs raping and killing everybody. And she wants to tell Iran how to live. Just shut the F up. Worry about your own problems, hypocrite.
Inside of Iran, let me finish.
In America, we don't even lock up criminals anymore. We have people with 100 arrests that are stabbing people in the neck on subway trains, pushing them in front of subway cars, radical judges that won't lock them up because they hate America and hate white people, 300,000 fentanyl deaths a year in our country, and we want to preach to the rest of the world how to live.
And so I do not want to say that we do not have any problem. No. The problem there are. You're
killing your own people. When you take care of your own house and get your own house in order, then you can give advice to other people. We're a complete disaster and a complete joke around the world, and we shouldn't be telling anybody how to live.
What do you mean we do not have any problem? You control that.
How to address these kind of problems according to the Iranian laws and regulations.
You killed your own
very
people.
Important. And the other,
you can pause it right there. So guess what? This we know. Trust what people are saying. Everybody else that's got opinions, we're all in a different camp. What we do know is they're willing to kill their own people. There's a group of...
And American politicians are willing to kill our own people by sending them off to war to die for another country named Israel. So who are we to judge? But, that doesn't count, right? We refuse to secure our border, and hundreds and thousands of our citizens die every year from fentanyl poisoning. We kill our own people here because we have politicians that won't do their fucking jobs, and we want to preach to the rest of the world how to live. Oh, but let me guess, the American body count doesn't count, right? Only those poor Iranians.
Iranian soccer players in Australia, who they had they're singing the national anthem. They refuse to sing along. Okay, Rob, can you go to that one right there? But actually, go to the other one first. So they refuse to sing along, and they're in the bus above. Okay, play the clip, Rob, if you could. They're not singing along. They're in the bus above. That's leaving.
Don't we have this problem in our own country with Megan Rapinoe, whatever? That piece of garbage shouldn't even be allowed to play in the Olympics. And they know that there's a serious consequence to this. So here's my take on this. Maybe you should just sing your national anthem, and whatever is going to happen to you wouldn't have happened to you. See, In other countries, they don't put up with the disrespect. In America, we let you do anything you want. We let you do anything you want. Oh, you're 5 years old and you think you should get your penis and balls removed? No problem, pal. Fill out the permission slip. Fucking clowns. Well, America, it's just Trump is a clown. It's just Democrats and Republicans are just total garbage. I hate all of you. It's over. I'm not voting for any of you anymore. It's done.
Australia, people are begging for Australia to not allow them to return back to Iran. Now, watch how this one-man Iranian guy reacts to this, suggesting how the Iranian government should react to these.
Sign them up for the NFL. They'll fit right in.
Brave women who don't stand for their government killing their own innocent people. Rob, go back to the other clip if you could.
And
right
Pat,
there, right. Watch.
And why are you doing it, Pat? Just they're doing sign language saying.
You know what they're probably doing? You know who Iranians are probably killing? They're probably killing child molesters. They're probably killing doctors that think it's all right to perform trans surgery on your 5-year-old. They're probably, you know, like all this, the trash that we have in America that's destroying it, who we treat with kids' gloves and like, oh, we're going to build statues of you and tell the American citizens to worship you as you chop our sons' penises off. Iran's probably getting rid of all those types of people. They should be probably applauded.
Help us on the bus. Don't let us go back because they know what's going to happen to them.
Watch what this man says and try to read the captions. Go forward.
I gifted my husband these pants, and now he wears them everywhere. Meet mesh irons.
You punish traitors harder during war. Whoever takes one wrong step against the country during war, you have to respond to them harder. Like the story of our women's national team not singing the anthem. You have to respond harshly. This is not a symbolic act or mere protest. Not singing the anthem is the highest order of treason. Both people and officials must treat them as...
Patrick Bet-David, when the USS Liberty, when soldiers lost their lives and Israel attacked them, 9/11, were you upset? Were you upset at all about the dancing Israelis? Oh, let me guess. You know, it's Israel attacking and killing American citizens. No big deal. Nothing to see.
As traitors. This is not a symbolic act. Write traitors on their foreheads and punish them severely. This is Iran. Who speaks like this in America? Pause it right there.
And let me ask you a question. What do you think?
Who speaks like this in America? Really, PBD? You've been having Ben Shapiro, Laura Loomer, Mark Levin. They've been coming out and saying that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens belong in concentration camps because they don't like Israel's politics. What do you mean, who talks like that? The Zionists talk like this all the time.
They are going to do to those women, because they're going to go back eventually. What do you think they're going to do to them? First of all, huge credit to them for having the freaking brave to do that, knowing what's going to happen. And by the way, you know what this reminds me of? Uday and Qusay, which Saddam Hussein's son was, he owned the national Iraq team. Pat, he'd have a dungeon in the stadium. He'd put players upside down and beat the crap under their feet if they lost games or they did something stupid. That's Saddam Hussein's.
Oh, so that means we're going to attack every country in the world. There's injustice everywhere. We have injustice in our own country. Our children are being like, you know how many pedophiles there are in this country? And like, what is the punishment when these people get caught? Nothing. Who are we to like protect the entire planet? We can't even protect our kids going to play in a park. Our president and our entire government's involved in a fucking sex trafficking ring with 10-year-olds. What are you talking about, Vinny? Who are we to save anybody else?
Kids, which were Uday and Qusay, which are absolutely nuts.
I believe it was Uday.
Would beat the hell out of them, would torture them. What are they going to do? They have to go back. They have to go back. So this is the freaking Iran that we're dealing with. And I get it. It's horrible.
Well,
it's horrible.
This is a new definition of soccer hooligan.
Wow. You see the first, I'm going to end it after this because I want to get a couple of his takes. It's just taking way too long. He's buzzed. The vodka's coming out of his pores. He's probably high on ecstasy still, ketamine, whatever he's doing. But he's just a mess today.
I remember growing up, I think it was Colombia. They scored their own goal and they killed the guy that scored that boat. Yep. But this is different in Iran. Look, we just had the Olympics in America. We saw what the U.S. men's hockey team stood for. We loved it. It was incredible. They're down here celebrating at 11, and then they go to the White House. We loved it. On the flip side, we had whatever the skier, whatever his name was.
I bet you Adam could care less. He's just saying that he loved it. But hey, I wouldn't expect anything else.
He's saying,
if I had to bet, he probably didn't watch more than 2 minutes of the hockey game.
You know, I'm representing America, but I don't believe in America. What happened to him? He was shamed. Okay. Yo, you know, do better, stand for the flag. Okay, there's the shaming. Then there's like, well, let's hold them accountable. Maybe there's some legal ramifications of quote unquote being a traitor, whatever that means. In this side of the world, with these ideological nut jobs, they will kill you.
Oh, by the way,
if you don't agree with them.
The person.
Here we go. He's talking about killing people. He's talking about how Iranians kill people who don't agree with him, as his master, Benjamin Netanyahu, just committed a genocide in Palestine, killing millions of people. They're still killing people. But hey, let's blame the Iranians.
That said harsh punishment.
Yeah.
You know who he was?
Who was
He's not a podcaster. He's not a regular guy. Pull up who it was, because I know people are going to say, well, who is that guy? Who cares what a guy like that would say? The guy, according to Grok, that said what he said is Mohammad Reza Shahbazi, a presenter on Iran state TV. It's their state TV, which means he's representing who? The state.
Of course.
He's the commentator threatening harsher punishment for the women's team as wartime traitors after they didn't sing the anthem. That's what they stand for. Can you imagine? Like,
oh, I would love to see Megan, whatever her name is. I mean, whatever, but she's such a piece of garbage, so it's whatever. Just let me leave it at that.
Abby or Scott Jennings or Hannity or Anderson Cooper. You know what? If Colin Kaepernick didn't stand up, we should give harsher punishment. Are you out of your mind? Like, to us, if somebody said fire him, oh my God, this man is trying to. No, they're saying harsher punishment. What?
Yeah, PBD is trying to moral police Iran, but he has no problem with Israel's doing what Benjamin Netanyahu's doing to Palestinian children. No problem at all. I wonder why. You don't want the check to stop PBD?
You think harsher punishment? That's the guy right there, by the way. Mohammad Reza Shahbazi is an Islamic Republic of Iran broadcasting, representing who? Whatever the Iranian government wants.
His payment comes from the state. He's not going to say anything.
Right, Rob, will you go down?
But
is there a breaking story?
Can I tell you what the biggest thing is? I understand the soccer situation, Pat. There's something bigger, and it's this article here from the Wall Street Journal where it says their neighbors, the Gulf states, had a strategy of playing nice with Iran, and it failed. Do you want to get into that?
Yes.
Make lunch with me while I tell you all the things
I promise
I
I'm going to stop being cheap next month, get rid of this, and pay for this. I just hate paying for this subscription, $20 to YouTube.
Not do with my money, and why you might be struggling because of that. The first thing that shocks a
So the Gulf Arab states and the U.S. allies like Saudi Arabia and the UAE spent the past few years betting that it was safer to be on friendly terms and hostile around than rather than confront it. That bet didn't work. And then it obviously goes on to basically spell out what's happened. Here's my opinion. I think the Gulf states, they recognize what's happening in their region. You know, I talked about this before, GDP versus GDT, gross domestic product versus gross domestic terrorism. All these states are trying to say, listen, the Middle East may be the future. I saw what you said in your regime collapse, saying maybe there's one day we go back to Iran. Maybe it's the Paris, the Middle East again. I think we're a long way from that happening. But the Paris of the Middle East right now is Dubai, is the UAE. You think that they want this tension here? So it's almost like they said, no, like, well, let's let them be crazy. We don't want to deal with it. But you know what happens with crazy people? They act crazy. And Iran.
Does Benjamin Netanyahu act crazy? Big elephant in the room, right, Adam? Does your master, Benjamin Netanyahu, is he an insane, murderous, bloodthirsty maniac? But of course, nobody on the panel will ask you that. Go figure.
Starts attacking everybody around them. The UAE, Kuwait, they start throwing missiles everywhere. They start attacking Saudi. Saudi wants to have regional hegemony, right? All these countries have oil. All these countries want tourism. All these countries with pragmatic.
Iran was not going to attack us. The only reason why America attacked Iran is because Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel told President Trump, if we're attacking them, and if you don't join it, it's going to put American soldiers' lives in danger. So we had no choice. So the only country that's committing chaos and acts of violence is Israel. And the reason why the whole region is up in arms is because of Israel being the aggressor and their actions. But hey, Adam, I wouldn't expect you to say anything different than what you're saying now.
Arab leaders want to have the two things that every other country wants. What's that? Peace and prosperity.
Oh, Israel wants peace and prosperity? Interesting take. Have you seen what Gaza looks like? It looks like it looks like a parking lot. It looks like a parking lot that a bulldozer just bulldozed. But they want peace, right, Adam? I mean, I guess those million Palestinians they just murdered and they keep murdering. That doesn't, those bodies don't count. That's really peace. That's peace. They're the Gaine. They don't count. What's the other word? Benjamin Netanyahu throws it around all the time, meaning, like, I forget the word. It's some biblical word.
Iran doesn't want peace and prosperity. So I think it's like this. They've awoken a giant in the Middle East. Everybody recognizes that Iran is the smelly kid on the playground, and nobody.
More like Iran doesn't want America and Israel telling them what to do and how to live and being controlled by them. Probably doesn't want their banking system in the country either. We'll probably get to the bottom of that later. But hey, the aggressor in all of this is Israel, and that's it. But I wouldn't expect anything less from Sosnick.
Nobody wants to play with these people, even their own neighbors. And now they're all saying, time to take this regime out.
By the way, Vinny just sent something. Vinny, if you want to send what you just
shared. So right now, 5 Iran women's soccer players defect with help of police following Asia Cup in Australia. So 5 players. Sources with direct knowledge of the event speaking anonymously due to ongoing danger faced by the squad say that the operation occurred after Iran's final match of the Asian Women's Cup. So these girls are like, hey, listen, we know what's coming. We don't want to go back.
Yeah, now they can come to America. They can hate it here. And then when they play sports here, they can kneel for the anthem and be the pieces of garbage here that they were in their own country. So we all know that's coming. But hey, when they get here, they'll be applauded and we'll build statues of them and we'll tell the American citizens, you must worship them. And if you don't, you're a racist. And we know the story from there.
Home, can you guys please protect us? And that's what you have it right there. But mind you, there's still about, what, 15 to 20 still traveling, substitutions and all that stuff that are still going back at them, and they're going to have to face the fire. So,
by the way, this is common every time there's a World Cup or an Olympics. Right now in Miami, there's the World International Baseball Classic. When you live in these despotic regimes, whether it's Cuba, whether it's Iran, whether it's North Korea, wherever you end up, and you recognize, oh my God, I'm in the liberal Western world. I'm in the United States now. I'm in Australia. I don't have to wear a hijab every second of the day. I can speak my mind. They all basically are like, yo, I'm not going back. So this is not unique, but I totally understand why the women are enacting this.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, maybe you and some of your Zionist friends can put them on OnlyFans and pimp them out. Take half the money, 50-50. I think it's 60-40 on OnlyFans. Just pimp them out, Adam. I mean, that's your thing, isn't it?
Back to them, God willing, nothing happens to them, and they get the protection they deserve because they're against. Here's the facts. What we do know is the Iranian regime hates their own people, that they're willing to kill them. If, God forbid, you go on the street saying, we don't like the way you treat us, we'll kill you. Mm-hmm. That's the state. That's their state. Hannity, Anderson, Cooper saying, we need to, bring harsh punishment to the people that are going against
State
us.
TV.
So why is anybody, Iran State
Pat,
TV?
Before we move on, I just want to get your last opinion on this. You said 81% of the Iranian people hate the regime.
Hate.
Do you think that number's changed in the last week?
Meaning less or higher?
Whether it may be. I think the hardliners, whether it's 10%, they're going to double down. They're doing this. Basically kill any dissenters. Do you think that 80 is now 90 now that they're smelling freedom?
Nobody should join the military ever until Adam Sosnick joins the military and fights for Israel. So with that being said, the United States military will never have another applicant ever again in the history ever. It'll be over.
Do you think that they're seeing their country maybe burning and maybe the 80 is now closer to 70, or that 80 is entrenched forever and it can only go higher?
I don't know. I think, listen, I think the whole concept of freedom, long-term wins. During COVID, Think about the people that were talking about shut down, shut down, shut down. Take the vaccine, take the vaccine, take the vaccine. You know, yeah, kids shouldn't go to school. And they were supporting it. What happened? They went like this, and then all of a sudden they went like this. They're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I'll never forget, what was her name? Sharon Osbourne. They give $900,000 to Black Lives Matter. Yeah, you know, we shouldn't. And they're like, no, that ended up being a fraud. And
yeah, that's a bad comparison because the Osbournes were being accused of being racist. That's the only reason why they gave them the money. I would have never gave $1.
A TMZ interview, if you remember that. No, I regret giving money to Black Lives Matter. But so many people are willing to go here. And then what typically brings everybody back? Freedom and common sense. Brings everybody eventually to your side. Listen, this is too much, guys. I don't support this. Same thing's going to happen here as we're going through these different events taking place. Let me go into oil. Strait of Hormuz. By the way, gas prices. Rob, if you want to go to oil prices, the one that Tom sent early this morning, here's what it's looking like, the latest. 5 days, oil prices, crude oil prices are up 45%. 1 month, 60%. Where is it right now, Rob? If you can go look at prices right now, what are prices looking like right now? Crude oil, if we can look up.
West Texas Intermediate, 97.50, just under 100.
Okay, 97.50, 99.8 is where we are. And by the way, this is all caused because of Strait of Hormuz, and it leads to this.
Adam's texting Benjamin Netanyahu right now, and he's like, am I doing okay, Daddy? Tell me what to say.
Story. Drone strike torches oil tanker in Strait of Hormuz as Iran's blockade halts global shipping. And, some are saying it could get higher, much higher, the numbers. Let me read this to you. A commercial oil tanker was set ablaze in the Strait of Hormuz after it was struck by an Iranian suicide drone. The country's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said Saturday with a U.S. Navy mission to safeguard ships through the region, possibly still weeks away. The IRGC claimed the tanker, the Prima, sailing under a Maltese flag, had ignored repeated warnings not to enter the strait. According to Tasnim, a news agency, Iran's news media, the flow of oil through strait, one of the world's most vital energy. We already know the numbers. We've talked about that. As a result, U.S. oil prices shot up $20 a barrel in a week. Now it's $30, $40 a barrel. Tom, what does this mean? And do you see it going any higher? If yes, how much higher?
Attention fitness lovers. This is one of the biggest sales ever. Paleo Valley's Black Friday sale is.
Well, this is getting a little nervous on a international scale because this is taking time. And the longer time it takes, the longer the straits are closed, the more you're going to have supply issues, and supply issues drives price, and then fear drives price. Can we go ahead and talk about the island?
Go for it, yes.
Yeah, so Kaharg Island, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, there's a picture of it right there. And you can see the satellite picture there. Zoom in a bit, Rob. The only thing that's on this island is a little square. You see right on the edges there of the island, you see those lateral ports. That's where giant tankers fuel. And then look what's on the island. Tons and tons and tons of tanks. Not military tanks, big round oil storage tanks. This island has got tremendous pipelines that go under the sea, and it is the island that refuels, get this, as Pat said at the beginning, 90% of the exports from Iran go on that island. If you were to hit this island and disable it, you will absolutely disable Iran's export capabilities, number one. But number two, you're going to cause world oil prices to go up. Now, some speculators in the U.S. aren't upset by this, Pat. They look at it this way. In the oil industry, Vinny, if you and I were drilling oil in Permian Basin, West Texas Intermediate, now we're selling oil at $100. A couple weeks ago, we were selling it at $68.50. So one half of the energy infrastructure is not terribly upset. These are the drillers and exporters of other regions. The people that are going to be upset is...
So much for drill, baby, drill on American soil, huh, Trump? Bullshit artist. Yeah, prices will be down. Yeah, sure they are. They're up 65 cents, you idiot.
The European economy, and then specifically China. The boots on the ground, there was speculation. There was an article came out this morning that they said U.S. Special Forces rumored to be preparing to assault and take this island. If we, there it is, U.S. that was, and here's 3 hours ago, U.S. weighs special forces taking Gaharg Island. This would mean that the U.S. would occupy and control 90% of Iran's exports. This is huge. This either brings them to their knees, Pat, and we can get some sort of a treaty. As I said, I don't think it's going to be an unconditional surrender, but this is huge. The oil prices are up on demand and speculation and fear and uncertainty. And then you've got U.S. Special Forces thinking here, just this headline, Pat, I think is good for $10 this morning. Because if you think about that, what happens if U.S. Special Forces occupy that island? It means, okay, you're not...
Yeah, and if Special Forces are deployed, then there needs to be IDF soldiers, the same number right next to them. But we all know that'll never happen.
Exporting anything. We're going to control your exports. And by getting the Navy, this is the one area that we have a defense expert that we spoke to this morning. They have fast boats with specialized missiles that are on the back that defend this island because it's pretty close to Iran's coast. So it is well defended, and it's up all the way up at the top of the Persian Gulf. So the price of oil and all this is getting a little hairy, Pat.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to affect America that much, and I'll tell you why.
I'm going to end there with this one. This idiot doesn't think it's going to affect America that much. Gas is up 65 cents today. But hey, as long as you're suffering for Israel, as long as you're struggling for Israel, Adam Sosnick, he doesn't see anything wrong with that. And he doesn't think it'll affect any Americans. We're not already suffering under, financial hardships and debt and all the high property taxes. Nope, there's nothing to see there. It's all your imagination. All your financial problems, according to Sosnick, are because you're a loser that drinks Mountain Dew in your mom's basement, and all you care about is the Epstein files.
We don't get our oil from this region. I don't think this is where a region that we care all too much about from an American standpoint. Obviously, I think we're more in the Don Roe doctrine. I think Panama is a bigger deal. I think Greenland is a bigger deal. Look, there's always going to be flashpoints that come up. Tom brings up a good point with China. I did some research on where China gets their oil, and you think, oh, China and Iran, they're in cahoots together. I don't think China cares that much about Iran, to be honest with you. And I'll tell you why.
He doesn't think China cares what Iran is up to. I guess, really, Adam, China doesn't care what Iran, they care what they're spying on everybody, you effing moron.
Do you know the number of barrels of oil that China gets from Iran? You think, oh my God, Iran's selling all their oil to China. But that's not where China is getting their oil from. They're actually number 8 on the total list. I don't know if you knew that. So China gets most of their oil from Saudi. After Saudi, they get their most of their oil from Russia, then Iraq, then Angola, of all places, then the UAE, then Malaysia, and then boom, 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 down on the list is Iran. So China and Iran don't have that tight of a relationship. I think the real relationship we got to look at is Iran and Russia. Now there's stories that Russia is sort of helping Iran spy, and obviously there's a drone situation there. But China, for the most part, I know we're talking about the Strait of Hormuz. I think they're just, my point is this, I think they're going to be like, hey, Iran, listen, guy, you're screwing up all our other business with Saudi, with Iraq.
Actually, Israel is the one screwing up everybody's business in the region, Adam. They're the aggressor, Adam. So just keep making it up as you go along.
With the UAE, if you want us to help you at all, you open up the Strait of Hormuz, okay, guy? Ni hao, and then hangs up. I don't think they're that close with Iran, my opinion.
I can't believe the sleep.
All right, I got to end it with that. I mean, if you watch the whole thing today on the PBD podcast, Adam is just unbearable. His takes are just a complete joke. Why did I shave myself today? But anyway, that's a different story. Adam is unbearable. If you watch that whole his takes just keep getting worse and worse as the show goes on. And once again, no American citizen should join the military ever. When you're fighting for foreign countries, for Israel, our citizens should not be dying for Israel. And when Adam Sosnick joins the military, when Patrick Bet-David joins again, when Mark Levin joins, when Ben Shapiro joins, when they send all their children and they send all the Jewish citizens in America who have dual citizenship to go fight for Israel, then maybe you should consider it. But until they do that, It shouldn't be a thought that crosses through your mind. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros.